Brady takes the shotgun snap, looks, pulls the trigger, touchdown to Randy Moss.
Welcome in, everybody, to the first ever edition of the brand new fantasy football podcast hosted by myself, Tony Cutillo, called Spiking the Pigskin. This podcast is powered by Win Daily Sports, where you can get 50% off by listening to this podcast and typing in the code HEAT, H-E-A-T, and get 50% off all of our models and our projections and our picks and our partner programs, everything right now. Code word HEAT, H-E-A-T, and get 50% off. That's $7.50 a week, $25 a month, or $75 for 3. Get in today. Now, just to give you a little background about myself and doing fantasy football for the better part of 15 plus years, was always a season-long fan. That's how I started. Shifted a little bit over to DFS, but now I want to get back to season-long fantasy. This is my home. This is my love. This is what I love to do, and I love the word prop. So we're going to get into props for fantasy football, for NFL, and we're going to have some fun, because when you do your research for fantasy football season-long, you uncover many, many numbers that will help you in the prop market when you are a sports bettor. So we're going to get into all of that. But the way this show is going to work is I don't like 30, 45-minute, 1-hour podcasts. That's just not my thing. I don't think anybody has time to listen to them. So what I want to do with this Spiking the Pigskin podcast is break it up into several different smaller segments so you can listen quick. You do your cardio for 20 minutes. Boom. You'll already be done at least one episode. If you're riding a bike for 15 minutes, boom, you'll already be done one episode. It'll be one topic, one episode. And then during the week, once the season actually begins, we'll be doing several different segments based on a rewind, a forecast forward, some starts and stiffs, some pickups, some waivers, and obviously getting in those touchdown parlays that we all love for Sunday. First topic, first show, very simple. Who is the number one pick this year in fantasy football? Who is it? Is it a running back? Is it a receiver? Would somebody even be ballsy enough to take a quarterback? I'm not sure. But I will say this word, I'll continue to say this word, when you draft the number one overall pick, it needs to be safe, not a risk. You do not become a risk taker at number one. So you have to be safe. And when you're safe, you want to leave out all questions that are asked. You take the player, in my opinion, that gives you the least amount of questions. And in 2024, there are a ton of questions when you look at the top 10 when it comes to ADP based on a PPR scoring system and where people are drafting already. Just look at the top. Christian McCaffrey, obviously the best overall player. No doubt about it. We already know that. But last year, you have to think about this. He was used extremely high. And when you're Christian McCaffrey and you are a running back and you're talking about 272 attempts on the ground, 83 targets through the air, this guy was an absolute cheat code. You've heard that cliche before, but it's absolutely true. When you have a running back that has zero value for a touchdown prop, when you're talking it's so juiced up, it's at like minus 220, you know this guy is good. But here's the problem. Last 2 years, 32 games. Last 2 years, 516 attempts. Last 2 years, 191 targets. All I'm saying is, and he's only missed one game, but what my point is, when does it slow down for Christian McCaffrey? When does it slow down for the San Francisco 49ers? When do they decide, you know what, we can't lean heavily on Christian McCaffrey? He already has a calf injury in the preseason, right? So we have to look at that. We have to be, is that safe? No, it's not safe. Is it risky? Don't know if it's extremely risky. I just don't say this is the safe pick. So then I look down the chart and I say, okay, who's next? Then we have the dynamic Tyreek Hill. Is he a safe pick? No. Is he a risk? Yes. Health-wise, the guy has only missed one game in 3 years. He's averaging 160 plus targets in 3 years. Last year, identical, just like 2022, 119 catches, almost identical yards. He almost hit 1,800, 1,799, 1,710 the year before. 20 total touchdowns in 2 years. But here's my issue. Eventually, those yards and those catches are going to come down. This is a very, very talented Miami Dolphins team. Jalen Waddle is only going to go up. Devon Achane is only going to go up. And Tyreek Hill may slow down just a little bit. And a lot of people are basing his overall ADP on touchdown equity, something that I do not put any stock in whatsoever. The only thing I do when I look at my projections is I look at the chances he has to score, not his actual scoring numbers, because that's something that we cannot put a price on. Simple, okay? Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. I want overall week-to-week consistency when it comes to my fantasy football players. And then let's go to CeeDee Lamb. Absolute stud and one of the most durable players in the NFL. Has only missed 2 games in his first 4 years. And the thing is with CeeDee Lamb, he has gone up in every statistical category over the past 4 years. 156 targets in 2022, 181 in 2023, 135 for 1749 and 12 touchdowns. Again, the thing that scares me about CeeDee Lamb is that entire Dallas Cowboys bad juju vibe. You have a quarterback that's not taken care of. You have a receiver that's not taken care of. You decided to get rid of an up-and-coming Tony Pollard for a washed-up Zeke Elliott. I don't like where this is going. I am not confident that CeeDee Lamb will be able to replicate those numbers based on what is happening from a mental standpoint in this offseason. So I do not go CeeDee Lamb. And then we look at Justin Jefferson. Do I have to say anything else about Justin Jefferson? Everybody talked about J.J. McCarthy. He's out. Now we have Sam Darnold or whoever we think is going to be throwing on the ball. Oh, and by the way, T.J. Hawkinson is hurt still and recovering. So he probably won't play until probably week 4, 5, or 6. So there's a different dynamic out here when we talk about Minnesota. And it's a dynamic that even though Justin Jefferson is paid as the number 1 wide receiver in football, possibly the best player in football based on those numbers, I still don't feel like he's safe enough for me to take him number 1 overall. And then we go, let's just say Jamar Chase, just for the heck of it, right? I am fading all Cincinnati Bengals. Why? Because I do not feel like there is a good vibe on that team. It's just simple. There are so many different things that'll be another episode, but again, it's not safe. If you want to place a sports wager and you don't have time to do it, and you don't have time to study, that's why we're here. Or maybe you're already a pretty good sports bettor, but you want a little more information, that's why we're here. Either way, we have you covered here at windailysports.com, where we have projection models, we have expert chats, we have prop betting models. We also have deals through all our partners to make sure you get the best bang for your buck. Just think of this scenario. You're working all day long. Now baseball games start early. Sometimes they start at 6 o'clock on Eastern time. Maybe you don't get home till 5. You want to spend time with the family. You want to have dinner. But you also want to get some bets in, and you haven't had time to do it all day. No time for research, no time for study. Well, guess what? That's where we come in. You just hop up to windailysports.com. You go to your account. You go to the prop page, what team you want to bet on, what players. You look at our edge beater. You find out the best lines all on one page. Boom, within 10 minutes, your bet is placed, your wager is done, and now you can eat, you can get relaxed, and you can watch and win. It's that simple. And right now, because you're listening to this podcast, this segment will get you 50% off. Use the code HEAT, H-E-A-T. If you are a new user, that's all you need to do is go to windailysports.com, go to the checkout page, and type in H-E-A-T and get 50% off. You can get a week for $7.50. You can get a month for $24.99. Or you can get 3 months for an easy $75. I'm telling you right now, if you do the 3 months for $75, you will make that money back and pay for the next 3 months by the time the end of the first month is done. Again, HEAT, H-E-A-T is the code, windailysports.com, and start winning with us today. So my safe pick is going to be A.J. Brown. And I know people are going to think it's nuts. I know people are going to think I'm crazy. But here's the thing. Again, on a down year, this is what I heard. Last year, A.J. Brown, they said, had a down year because the Philadelphia Eagles had a down year, supposedly. Well, 106 catches for 1456. If that's a down year, I hate to see what an upside year is. Okay, the year before, he had 88 and 1496 for his first year in Philadelphia. But he played every single game the last 2 years. His targets, 150 plus the last 2 years. His catches, he's averaging about 95 to 100 over the past 2 years, and his yards are almost identical at 1456 and 1496. But here's the thing. No matter who is on the other side of him, which obviously is Devontae Smith, no matter who is in the backfield with him, which is obviously Saquon Barkley, he is going to get his touches no matter what. If you look at weeks 13, 14, 15, and 16, you're talking 13, 10, and 11 when it comes to a target. Okay, he had double-digit yards per catch average. Very, very simple. And didn't even score a touchdown, but still lit up the scoreboard at 14 to 21 points consistently. That's what I need because I don't go by touchdown equity. And he's done it consistently over the past 2 years. And not to mention, a lot of people are worried about enough balls to go around in Philadelphia. But here's my theory, and this is what I'm going to say. You have to, when you're looking at fantasy football, it's not always about numbers. It's also about theories. And those theories have to be based on what you're seeing in camp, what you're hearing, what the beat reporters are writing, what the coaches are speaking about. So many different elements to what your strategies are. And I'm looking at Saquon Barkley obviously getting his hands on the ball. Devontae Smith obviously getting his hands on the ball. But here's the thing. 2 reasons why I feel A.J. Brown is going to have even better numbers this year than he's had the past 2. Number one, Saquon Barkley is going to pose a huge threat coming out of the backfield and catching passes. It's going to happen, okay? Which one of the most lethal plays that Jalen Hurts and A.J. Brown like to throw is that quick 6 to 7 yard slant. And I'm telling you right now, the middle of the field is going to be open because they're stacking the box against Saquon Barkley. The Eagles have never had a running threat like this before, and they have it right now. And because of that, Jalen Hurts is not going to run as much, and his tendencies are going to be to throw the ball a little more or hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley. And when he hand the ball off to Saquon Barkley, that's going to keep Dallas Goedert in, who is one of the most efficient blocking tight ends in the entire league. Now, all you need to do is go look what happened to George Kittle with his numbers when it comes to catching the ball consistently because of what Christian McCaffrey was doing and because of the role George Kittle was playing. That's how Dallas Goedert is going to be when it comes to the run game. So I think those targets and those catches are going to go right to A.J. Brown. I feel like he's the safe pick. And just so you know, just look at the numbers as they finished last year. So somebody says, well, if you don't look at touchdowns, Tyreek Hill had 1,800 yards almost. And A.J. Brown had close to 1,500 yards. So that's a 300-yard difference. Yeah, that's fine. So it's 1 point per 10 yards. So that's 30 points in fantasy over the course of 17 games. Come on, man. 1.5 a week. That's what we're looking at. 1.5 a week. So that's what I'm trying to say. If you break down the numbers, it's really not as big as you think. So I'm going with the safe play, and that's why I'm taking A.J. Brown. And that's going to be the first episode of Spiking the Pigskin in the books. Now, if you have any questions, I have a season-long fantasy football Discord channel on WinDailySports.com. And again, the way you get into that premium Discord is you get signed up today, code word HEAT, HEAT. Go to WinDailySports.com, go to pricing, go to checkout, sign in, create your account, and put in HEAT, HEAT, and get 50% off. Even if it's only a week, just to check it out, it's only going to cost you $7.50. Pop into that Discord room, because not only in the preseason am I going to be answering questions daily, up to the minute information, but what I'm also going to be doing throughout the entire year is making sure you have all the resources you need, whether it be for trades, whether it be for waivers, whether it be just for quick opinions about lineup decisions. It's going to be all there. So make sure you get locked in and make sure you continue to listen to Spiking the Pigskin. You can go on Twitter as well, or X, whatever we want to call it now, at @SpikeTheBall_FF. A lot of information on there as well. The deals will be on there too. But as always, Tony Cutillo here, Spiking the Pigskin. The first episode, I'm going to have a ton of fun doing this. It's fantasy football season. Let's draft the best team. Let's win some trophies. And let's pick the best players who are going to be spiking the pigskin every single week and cashing our tickets.